and welcome back to the You Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? What's going on?
I'm
What's
all right.
How was your many social gatherings?
All my social gatherings were lovely.
For the 4th of July. How was your 4th of July? Well, it feels like it's been a while since we've been here.
I know. Was the 4th of July last week? I feel like it was 2 weeks ago.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
I love the 4th of July.
You do.
I really
Mr.
think
4th of July.
I am Mr. America. I just love it. Is
Uncle Jared, Sam.
Uncle Jared, Sam.
Yes.
Steen.
Yes.
I just love it. Is summer Thanksgiving. It is get here, have a burger, have a dog, look at the fireworks, get drunk.
Be by the beach.
By the beach. Hot. It's hot right now.
Oh, yeah. I like it.
I do too.
Everyone's complaining.
Do we age into liking hot weather? Like in my 20s, I was like, the city is strangling me. And now I'm like bathing in it, rubbing my nipples.
I think I just think of it compared to I think extreme heat, I'm just better able to tolerate it than extreme cold.
I can't here's the thing. I want extreme heat during the day, extreme cold at night.
Like in bed.
Right.
Yeah.
When I'm in bed. So like it sucks if you can get AC to sleep well, you're going to be okay. I guess maybe it's a New York City thing too, because we travel by foot.
Right.
You know, our feet are
You're not
our
just
transport.
in a comfy air-conditioned car all day.
Right. So, especially if it's raining and the water's spitting at your eyes, I'd much rather like hot, get to where I'm going, we're all sweating, than cold and sleet and snow and you can't even walk places, you know, and it's kind of ruined your whole...
You can't feel your face 'cause
right.
It's so cold.
So
you have to put on 17 layers. At least people are walking around not wearing any clothes. Right. It's great.
This week's weather report is brought to you by Doppler Radar. We do a lot of weather talk. I don't know if we never think we're going to do it. And then we always, I don't know, New York, I think
I saw
we
your
are
post,
in the elements.
Which was funny. And it made me think, like, is it disgusting? It's a little gross, but I like it.
I do. I'm with you, though. I like it. It's like, I've been getting into golf, as some people might know. I talk about it. I'm talking about it.
You're prepping for your move to Florida, maybe?
I'm not moving to Florida. I don't
You're
think.
not. Okay.
We had a meeting today. Something's coming, but based on that meeting today, I think that makes me Mr. New York for the rest of my life. That motivates me.
Okay,
it really
good.
does.
I think you should stay.
As a tease. But I think I'm going to stay. But if the golf thing, I do like being out in the heat golfing and like that sweat that's just on your body, like a film. And I'm actually comfortable.
You're
with
into it. It's
Yeah.
good for your joints. It's like being in a steam room.
Are we 100? Did we turn 100?
We did turn
over
100.
It's good for our joints.
Sometimes
We're
I feel
a dating
like
podcast. It's good for
sorry.
our joints.
I'm sorry. I'm going to get my shit together.
Yeah, come on, Jordana.
I have been all over the place. This was the worst thing that can kind of ever happen to you as you're commuting.
Go ahead.
I get off the train and I go to open my headphones. And there's one headphone in there.
One headphone.
There's one of the two AirPods.
So you're going to be like a Gary V douchebag with one pod
I put it in. I put it in.
Talking business.
I bet one is better than none.
Yeah, that's fair.
But now I look like an asshole walking around. And there's nothing worse than just sound on one side of your face.
It's hard.
It's tough.
Oh, I mean, you're not going to the gym or anything. That would be a real...
No.
One pod at the gym. During the day, I think you can get through.
You can, but you look stupid and it sounds weird.
Right. That is the worst thing that could ever happen to a human being.
And I'm so annoyed.
Yeah,
right?
no, I would hate that. Because that will also on your mind, where's the other pod?
Where is it? I
just
opened.
Did I lose it? Do I have to make a life change?
Like, where would I put it if not here? And remember, my New Year's resolution every year is to take better care of my belongings.
Well, gonna have to wait till next year, 2025.
I see this one
Restart
AirPod.
the clock. Well, this is one of those things. When I lose something or can't find something or like this is a dating thing where like whoever you're dating, you're like, if it's them, I will end this relationship over an AirPod. Like if you find out Mike's like, oh, I took one, I figured you'd get one, I'd get one because I lost mine. Would you like be the most angry
and didn't say anything?
Right.
Yeah, that's a betrayal.
That's a hypothetical.
How could you trust that person?
Red flag or deal breaker?
How could you ever trust that person to not look out for your best interests?
It's actually, it would be
like
insane.
if someone ate your lunch.
Right. And then you got home. What happened to my lunch was gone? Oh, I ate it. I'd be like,
oh, I get scared to tell Mike when I lose these kinds of things because
this is your thing that he has on you. Is that what it is?
Well, we were actually
there's a bug in the studio.
We were talking about this the other day. Get out of here.
That might have turned some woman off. If you're watching on YouTube and saw me try to like smack the bug, that might make me unfuckable forever.
An ick, if you will.
An ick, so to speak.
What were we just talking? Oh, so Mike's least favorite quality about me, and I asked him about it.
You go, what's your least favorite quality about me?
Yeah.
Do you think that's helped or hurt your relationship?
Sometimes I try to start a little fight here.
I mean, do you think has that been a net positive? This is a good topic. Is this a question that someone who's in a relationship listening has helped or hurt your relationship? What is the thing?
I think it's good to know.
Okay,
it's
net
good
positive.
to know how much that actually annoys the person.
Okay, but it seems it's created a fear in you. So what was his
about telling him about like things?
Right, it's made you less you.
Yeah. Oh, I have to sneakily clean the couch for the shit that I spilled on it.
Right.
All right. So Mike's least favorite thing about me is that I'm very messy.
Okay.
Kind of disorganized.
So this goes into the messy.
But I've been talking about being a disgusting on the show for years. He knew.
To your credit, you are openly a disgusting.
Yes.
He knew what he was getting into.
I've never tried to pretend.
You have never said you've been anything but disgusting and gross.
Yes. I mean, the first couple months we dated, I used to clean up before he came over.
Little hand sweep.
Yeah. Shove everything in the closet. Yes. But now I am who I am.
Yeah. Well, so now this losing the AirPod or misplacing it.
So when I misplace or lose the AirPod, I think it's gone. I am like, I don't want to tell him something that reconfirms. It doesn't even affect him. Like he's not gonna really care because it's not. I didn't lose his AirPod.
Right.
I lost my own.
I guess the fear in a relationship, and please tell me if I'm wrong, is that at a later date, if you have something where you're angry at him,
right,
he could always go, I mean, you forgot the AirPod. You got problems too. And it's not really a healthy way to argue with someone, but it is what couples do.
Right. Well, it's like if you're being petty about something, everyone has their own arsenal of other petty things that they can bring out of
in their petty sheath.
Right.
So is that the fear? Because it's like you're not like afraid, like trigger warning. You're not afraid that like he's gonna be like, you lost the AirPod and then whack you around a little bit.
Obviously,
like
it's not
what's
like
the
that.
fear?
My fear is like reconfirming the negative thought that he has about me.
Right.
Which I also it bothers me too, but clearly not enough to like.
Here's
really
the underrated part of 35 and beyond. You're as good as you're gonna get.
Well, both of us are 34.
Right.
So.
Well, what I'm saying, you are.
Couple months, we're both out of that
Improvement
zone.
is over.
Yeah.
This is as good as I'm gonna be.
I kind of agree.
Right? Like all this self-help bullshit. If you're posting quotes, good for you. It might help for a moment. You ain't gonna be better than you are now. You're gonna be. And I say this every day. I look in the mirror. I go, Jared, you're gonna be gross forever. You're gonna drink martinis. You're never gonna change. Yeah. No improvement.
I think that's a good way to. Yeah, this is who I am.
Right.
I am who I am.
That's right.
But it's funny because his most annoying quality about him.
Oh, what? Yeah, what'd you give him?
I'll tell you guys too is that he's cheap.
Cheapskate.
Yes.
Much worse quality. I'd rather a disgusting than a cheapskate.
So would I. That's why I am who I am.
Right.
So he's super cheap and I'm a disgusting. So I said, let's get a cleaning person more frequently, and that'll solve both of our issues.
Wow.
Right?
Well, it is funny
It'll
that
solve all the problems.
Well, your biggest thing, like, your solution is his worst nightmare.
Right. I'm like, let's throw money at my issue.
Right. Well,
we'll both deal with our.
Well, it doesn't really solve his issue of cheapness. Like that doesn't like.
Well, it's exposure therapy.
I guess so. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yes. And he has to watch the cleaning person do stuff around the house. He's gonna watch, and then every time he tries to help, you have to like hold him back.
And he's got to pay them himself so they get the sting.
Right. You send the Venmo.
Yes.
Oh man. So how was the weekend? What did you said last? You were pretty vague.
Yes.
About your social gatherings.
My gatherings, because they're so. I mean, we went to Mike's friend's pool on Thursday.
Love a pool. Okay.
We went to Sammy, my friend, but his friend.
Betch's founder, Betch's founder,
yes.
Sammy, her pool.
Pool on Friday.
Every Betch's founder has a pool and a mansion. You guys don't even know.
Stop it.
These houses are huge. They're bigger than. And whatever you're imagining a big house to be, it's bigger.
Jared.
Okay.
You've got to stop this. You're embarrassing me. I'm going to let them leave it in.
Even Mike spent money on this house.
I'm gonna let them leave it in, but this is your last one.
I can't stop. It's
your
my
last
favorite
one.
running joke on
I
this
feel like
show.
I should embrace it so you'll want to do it less because I feel like
If
you
you
get
were-
off a
yeah,
little bit
this
on how
makes-
uncomfortable it makes me.
I don't know if anyone's laughing at it. I did see a comment that was like, Jordana's house keeps getting bigger every week.
It's not that big.
It's not that big if you're Jeff Bezos.
You're exactly.
So,
It's quaint.
quaint village home.
Okay. This is your last
With
one.
grounds.
Get it all out. Are you done?
Listen, if you need 10,000 steps, walk from
Oh my God.
Jordana's back door to the pool.
You're gonna make me. I mean, you've said this. You're gonna make me the most hated person on
No,
the
there's
internet.
no hatred on the internet comes from lying. They do hate rich people on the internet. I will say this. We've established
Mm-hmm.
this. But I think accepting who you are is more important.
On the internet,
I think so.
is it? I don't think so.
No. Okay, I'll stop.
What were we just saying?
I mean, if the joint pain conversation
talking about
didn't
Sammy's
make
big
us
house.
unrelatable to the daters.
yes.
Oh yeah, so Sammy's
So,
mansion.
so then we went to Sammy's house.
Yeah.
Went to her pool on Saturday,
Mhm.
and then on I don't know what the days are.
Well,
Whatever. We went to-
Wednesday we left here. Thursday's the 4th, so you saw fireworks at Mike's
Yes.
friend's house with the pool. Then you went to Sammy's on Friday.
So yeah, Sammy's
Friday.
working, and then I go to Sammy's on Friday. Where Betches is open.
Betches was open.
Yes.
You guys, this is...
We're animals.
God, you guys never stop. I love it.
Yes.
This is Gary V's hustle culture dream.
There you go.
Yeah.
Always be selling. Abe.
Always.
Always be selling.
Always be memeing.
And then Saturday we went to Greenport,
Okay.
where I ran into one of your fans,
Really?
who maybe was my fan too. I don't know.
Well, but they came up to you.
They came up to me and said, "I just saw Jared in West Hampton." I don't know what they
Oh
were
my
doing,
God.
going up and down the
They're just
Hamptons,
traveling the
north and south, because Greenport is on the north fork of the Hamptons.
So to explain to the listeners at home, but the West Hampton is considered. So I was in West Hampton, which is like the beginning of the Hamptons, and you can at that point you can go to the North Fork pretty easily because it hasn't forked off, so to speak.
Right.
So you could be in North Fork area like 20 minutes from West Hampton, but if you went to Southampton, you have to go all the way around, and so
Right.
it
I
makes
guess it makes
sense that
sense now that I'm
someone would
thinking
be
of it.
in
Yes.
Greenport.
So they had seen you I think they had seen you in West Hampton, and then they came to Greenport and they saw me. What a lovely
weekend for them.
Seriously.
What a win.
Well, yours
Did
they
have-
knew you would be there. I guess mine just
Right.
had a very weird,
Well,
random thing.
To them, they're going, is someone watching me? That's like a weird moment.
Yeah.
So they were at the show?
They said they were, yeah.
Did they have fun?
I mean, I wasn't there, so I wasn't going to be like.
it was a good show.
Right,
It was
I'm
fun.
sure it was great. Yeah.
So that's
Sold
cool.
out. Yeah.
Sold out. Thank you, West Hamptonians.
Yes.
If
How do
you're-
you feel? Do you feel like you're a Hamptons guy now?
I'd love to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
would you?
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not living in reality out there. It's fucking great.
I mean, do they live there full time?
Some of them, if you're there, there's
There's a big difference between the locals and the
in any beach
people who
town,
come in,
right?
yeah.
In any beach town, that's a big difference. But I'm saying, like, just the vibe out there is easy breezy. The bars are fun. It is even like the young people bars are the right speed. The one thing about West Hampton is they're very
Young people bars.
Yeah, the ones without joint pain.
What do you consider? What do you call it? What do you consider the age group of a young people bar? Under 25? Under 30?
27
Under
and below.
27.
Yeah, 27 and below. 27 and above, I think we're in the same territory. As I say, men think
Right.
they're 27 until they're 80.
Well, it's
So-
interesting. 27, I feel like for women is like under 27, you don't, at least in New York, you don't know anyone who's married.
Right.
Over 27, it's like, should I be settling down?
Right. All my friends are getting married.
Yes.
And then 31, all my friends are married. 34, all my friends are having kids.
Yes.
That's kind of the New York ages. I'm sure in
Yeah.
Alabama things are a little bit different.
Younger.
But
yeah.
no, I would say I loved. I mean, I'm a beach guy. You know this. I love
yeah.
the beach. I love beach by noon. The one thing about West Hampton that's very funny is that they're told that, like, some people believe that the Hamptons don't start until Southampton.
Mm-hmm.
To me, to you, if you're in the Hamptons, you're in the Hamptons, right?
Yeah,
but you're a Long
Hampton,
Islander,
besides
so
Hampton Bays.
well, Hampton Bays. No. You are not in the Hamptons.
Well, is it Quogue or is it West Hampton?
West Hampton. So
Okay.
that was the town.
I don't really know the difference between West Hampton and Quogue, but I know that's also a thing of like, is it the Hamptons?
Right. They're kind of on top of each other. Quogue feels like if you're from the Boston area, like I'm from Needham, there was like Dover, like if someone was from Dover, like, whoa, you didn't even have a town. Like it's like
Okay.
it's like way nicer. Like I think that's like Quogue.
It's nicer than West Hampton?
Seemingly, because it's
Okay.
like more on the beach. But then I will say this is very inside Hamptons thing. I said to them, every person in the West Hampton goes, they like apologize.
That they're not the real Hamptons?
Right. And
Well,
they'll be like,
there's not as much like fancy social shit out there.
right. And then not a lot of the housewives are from there.
Yeah.
So they all tell you, they're like, it's an hour. They'll like try to like sell you on it, but I'm like, I'm not buying a place. I
Plus, you
can't
don't
afford
know,
it.
You would know also anything they told you, you'd believe.
Right.
So it's not like you're going to be like.
We're in the Hamptons. I'm not walking around being like, look at this piece of shit garbage. Because they go, it's an hour closer to the city and it's the same beach as over there. That's what they tell you, every single person.
Right.
And you're like, okay, sounds like you're a little, sensy.
Where are the celebrities?
Yeah, not a lot of celebrities. Listen, your boy.
You were the biggest celebrity there.
No, I was not.
No, you were with
Hannah Berner.
You were in
who's-
Celebrity House. You were
Right.
Taylor Strecker.
Taylor Strecker, Hannah Berner, Des Bishop, all
Yeah.
these, which was cool. They were so nice to me, and Hannah ended up opening the show. She did a fantastic job. It was just really one of those, this is a weekend where someone will go, would you move there? And you go, I have to move here.
I feel like this is the only way you would do a summer house.
Absolutely.
Is like you'd have to like literally be pushed into it to where you couldn't
Right.
escape, and it is for work.
Yes, and I have a bed.
Yes.
Like a guaranteed bed.
That is like the only way I feel like you would go stay with someone.
No,
that wasn't your parents.
It is very tough for me to stay at someone else's house. Here's what happens when I stay at someone's house. I have the voice of my mom in my head. I told you this.
Was it that you owe someone something?
No, my mom would be like, my mom's the type of person that will invite everyone over and then complain about them while they're there.
Okay.
So I'm
You
hearing.
always think you're a nuisance.
So I'm hearing the complaints of my mom about me behind my back while I'm staying with someone. So I hear like, look, he doesn't even bring his dishes to the sink. I can hear my mom.
good. That
He
keeps
leaves
you in
his
check.
towel out. So I am like so on shit
Okay.
that I'm actually, and when you're staying with your friends and then like there's this moment where you're like, you're like, oh, we are the adults. You ever have that?
Yeah.
You're at Sammy's pool
Right.
and you're probably like, oh, where's mom? Like,
Right.
we have to be weird
Is your
around her
mom
mom.
gonna bring out some fruit?
Right. It's like, no, Sammy's the mom.
Right. Yeah.
So I have that in me too, because it was like, we were just like, I can't believe they're letting us kids just hang around, this-
Right. It doesn't feel like anyone owns it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm on edge because I just don't want to be the guy that like Des and Hannah are like, can you believe Jared won't get the fuck out of here?
Here's the other thing. I feel like if you're staying with comedians or
Sure.
people in the comedy space, those aren't the people who are like, where's the coaster? Like that sort of is
Right.
anti that whole vibe of not taking yourself or anything too seriously.
Right, but I don't know. Maybe I would be like, can you? I don't know. Maybe I'm when the finger points, three are pointing back at you. Maybe I'm the person.
As long as you're under three days. After 3 days, guests are
Right.
like fish.
That's
They
right.
start to stink. Have you heard that?
Well, I've heard that. Sunday I got out early.
Okay.
Came back to the city.
Yeah, you can't be lingering on a Sunday.
No. Hey, we're doing breakfast.
Yeah,
No,
that's my
get
fear
out.
of having someone over is like, how
Right.
do you tell them it's time for them to go?
Well,
Hopefully they already know.
famously, I have a story about my brother. He stayed with me famously.
Oh, yes.
And I
In
said
your
it,
speech.
my brother. I said in my speech, my brother stayed with me while he was like looking for jobs, and it went from a month to 2 months, and now we're in this like little apartment, and he wants to work in the NFL, and I'm doing open mics and comedy and trying to figure out any way I can do it. And there was a point where I was like, he's got to go. Like I looked at him, I said, Harry, there's too many dreams in this apartment. You need to go. And
Well, that's your brother. You could say that.
Right.
Would
I
you have
don't-
said that to a friend?
on a
Probably not.
Sunday, I would, if I was the person whose house it was, I would get ahead. I'd be like
That's what I'm
over
saying.
plan it.
You've got to leave before you're asked to leave.
Right. Hey, we got like things on Sunday. There would be a lot of that.
You have, right,
vague.
yeah. You've got to like mention all the stuff that you have to do and hope they're not like, all right, so we'll
Oblivious.
just chill here while you go grocery shopping.
Right. Because
Like,
people are like
just
that.
let us know where the towels are.
Some people can do you. I guess the worse people ruin it for everyone else. Because
Right.
like that's an extreme version. Like you would think most people would get it like, nope, Sunday, we're out of here. We got to go.
And you have to, it's tough with someone unless they're like your best friend or your family. Because I do think the best guests are the people who almost do make themselves very much at home and then know when to leave. Because it is
Right.
kind of annoying to be like, can I grab something from the fridge? It's just like, take it.
Right. Shut the fuck up.
Right. Like pretend you live here for the weekend, but then leave.
My friends,
Also-
I have friends that are like that, and I make fun of them. I have friends that
Oh, right,
are
with the kids, right?
well,
The
they have
3
no
kids?
kids.
Oh, the other
no,
the other friends.
This is my 2 friends that are
The baby.
the dinks, the baby.
Yeah.
So the baby and his wife.
Ironically, they have no kids, and he's called the baby.
He's called the baby.
Yes.
So the baby and his wife, I make fun of them constantly because they make themselves at home, and every one of my friends, they have a room at their house.
That's nice.
And
That's 'cause
they
they don't come with all this baggage.
Right. Children.
Where do I put the pack and play? Fuck off.
Yeah, no, they come in. He comes in, he works in wine. So he comes in with like a big sack of wine.
Wow.
Well, then he started to get a reputation. We started calling him Johnny Pours because he keeps pouring drinks. Everyone's hungover. Now he's self-conscious. Now I make fun of him about that.
He's
Well, because like now we got to, do you have a friend that like like I'm probably that friend for some people.
Right.
Where I'm like, let's have a drink. And now it's like the next morning you're like, I can't hang out with Jared because.
Yeah, I think it's all relative. I'm that friend for some people. In other scenarios, there's someone more intense than me.
Right. I have those people, the person you think of like, I can't hang out with
Right.
them because I need to be well tomorrow. When they're not even asking you to have a drink
Right.
at all, you know?
Well, people with kids don't like to drink that much because they have shit to do the next day.
Right.
At like an early time.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah,
found.
maybe I should just be alone forever and never
Where
deal
does
with
that-
any of these decisions. Kids.
Or if you want to drink less, which you've been talking about, maybe you should have a baby.
That that's getting rid
That's
of
a bigger
your
problem.
rat problem with a cat problem. I'm gonna get
It'd
rid
be
of
very
my.
funny if that was your solution. You're like, I
Hey.
just want to stop drinking late at night so I can stop eating late night food.
What a
You're like, just-
what a beautiful baby. Yeah, well, I was drinking a lot. Yeah, a lot of late night pizza. So we had a baby. Yeah. What are we talking about today? We got. I actually wanted to read a quote. The
Okay.
You Up podcast.
Give us a motivational quote.
No, this is gonna be kind of the opposite. The You Up podcast Instagram account, which Candace is running, and we want everyone to go follow if you're listening. It's
Up.podcast. It's more fun to say than it is.
Makes me laugh every time. It's like-
You.up.podcast.
and it's about Love Island. Have you watched Love Island?
I've watched the first episode of various seasons many times. I cannot get into it. I don't know. I think when they bring them out in the bikinis too soon, I get a little turned off.
You're like, it's unrelatable.
I'm just like, it's a little too, like, it feels too sexual to start. Like, I like
Right.
more the relationship drama than the sex, and I feel like it pushes the sex on me too soon.
Right. They've basically given to people are just attracted to each other.
Right. It
That's
feels
what
like-
gets them together.
It feels like a little cheaply done of like, here, throw sex into the mix
Yeah.
immediately because sex sells. I'm kind of like, let's like make this a little classier,
Right.
ease into
Let's
it.
hang at the lobby for a minute.
Yeah, I don't need like the first episode is always like 6 women in a G-string, and I'm like, I don't think this is for me.
I guess I should start watching. You're making this sound like a.
Well, maybe I'm sure a lot of men watch.
I've never gotten into it because it's just a lot of episodes.
That too.
So, and in the UK, it's like it's its own channel. Here, it's 4 nights a week. But I do understand the premise is like genitalia musical chairs. Like everyone's
Right.
trying to like match up with another suitorette,
Yeah.
and whoever's left out has to leave the island, which is the worst thing that could ever happen to someone.
Right.
So this is the quote. I guess there was like drama with like the men leaving their girlfriends for the new women that just showed up to the show.
Okay.
So here's a tweet from @DeadTingTV. Casa Amor is a case study in the theory that men want to impress other men more than women. Men will convince each other to misbehave every season while the women make their own choices. Men will lose the love of their life to impress their bro. What do you think of that?
I mean, without having seen the season,
Mhm.
so I'm going to preface it with that. I don't think that's why men misbehave. I think it's actually like that's like a more flattering reason, I think, to say why they misbehave, when I think the real reason is that they're like disgusting, impulsive animals.
Right. I'm on that
like to
side
me,
too.
it's like that's a generous way to put it that they even care about what anyone thinks about them. I just think they're kind of like they think with their penis.
Right. It is an interesting the idea that men care who's in the cool group and not in the cool group is overrated. When it comes to fucking, no. It's like
well, when it comes to dating, maybe.
I guess dating, there is this thing of like trophy wife.
Right.
That is a thing where you go, look at the beast I have slayed. There's something caveman-esque about that to some. This is a wide generalization, and we're not above wide generalizations. We do that here all the time. But like,
well, is there like an alpha man thing of like I want to get the hottest girl and like show that I could have gotten the hottest girl to the other men so they know that I'm the best guy here?
I would say that's people more than men. We talked about this, and we're going to be on Lady Gang, the podcast, and they're going to be on our podcast. But
we talked about this with Lady Gang.
We did talk about this idea that women are attracted to men who have dated aspirational women.
Right. I mean, are men attracted to women who have dated aspirational men?
I've never thought of the ex as like a thing on me.
Really?
I guess I don't know. I've never really thought of it's never occurred to me. Who was your last person to look at the last person and be like, wow, look at this stud.
I'm in this league.
Right. I never thought of that. I think men are too up their own ass, too much of a narcissist.
Really?
Too ego-filled. I mean, like, what's the options? Are we ego-filled or are we, looking...
Right. Well, I think women are trying to analyze more.
Right. I don't think, like, the idea of, like, I'm dating someone who I'm not their type, I wouldn't give a fuck. They're fucking me.
Right.
Women do get into this thing where it's like, am I even his type? Look at the last girlfriend. I've never thought about that at all. I have seen women date men after me, and I'm like, oh, it just looks like me being, in the video game, little changes made. Right. And I go, oh, I guess I was a thing.
So then you think she has a type?
Who?
Like
yeah,
the
right.
But
I wouldn't, it didn't make me feel sad.
Right. But you're saying that for men, it's not as much about other people.
I think you're right with the, like, it's an animal. Like
right.
These choices are made right. It is fuck and figure out the rest later. And I think that should be helpful. I know that sounds disgusting, but that should be helpful to people. It's more simple.
I think it is when it comes to sex. I think it is more simple, but I do think when it comes to dating, there might be something maybe about that.
Right. Well, that's fair, but I think that's the thing of like, where you go, why did this happen? What was he thinking? Why'd you text me for 3 weeks to then not, come to Buffalo and meet me? And you go, yeah, he was an animal. Yeah. He was texting first and we'll figure out the rest later. Like, I just showed you someone that was like messaging me and you're like, I wouldn't really go for that. You were basically like, this person doesn't look like, what you're looking for right now, and I'm giving kinder words.
Right. I said they seem crazy.
So then I go, yeah, I haven't even thought of that yet. Like it's
well, that's
eat
the first
and then
thing we're thinking
get the food and then decide if you can give up some of the food.
Right. Well, that's why women look at men's jobs on dating apps more than men look at women's.
Right.
Because you're not thinking that far ahead.
Well, that's the idea when it comes to Casa, Amor, and what they're talking about is they brought in these new women. Like the idea that these men were like, let's do this. Like we should go with these new women because we want to impress these guys. I don't know. To me, I'm like, it's not.
Right. They're thinking, let's go with these new women because they're here.
Because they're new women.
Hard.
Yeah. New women, penis me.
Right. Whereas I just don't think women would do that because they're thinking more about like who is relationship worthy.
They've thought of the future. Yeah. I mean, again, this is like societal. This goes down to like safety issues. Mm-hmm. This can go more serious if we wanted it to. Like the idea that like, okay, I know who I'm with. I know that they're a good guy. I know that I put on TikTok this dating advice where it was like a woman was like, I don't want to scare a guy away. And I'm like, I don't believe any man is scared away from a woman. There's no text that a woman could send that'd be like, oh, I gotta go.
Have you ever felt like someone was too much or clingy?
If anything, I was more bored by them.
Okay.
There's no excitement. I'm more likely to be bored than I am scared.
Okay.
So, like, the idea of, like, what are you going to even text? If you've gone on 3 dates, what would the text be that would scare him away?
Trying to think what I would be worried.
Right. What would you be worried about?
Are you free next week?
Are you
I
free
feel like
next week?
that would make him feel like he didn't have to chase me anymore. Too much of a lock.
See, to me, when I hear "Are you free next week?" it's like, I guess we should make a plan. If I like them, I'm free next week. Let's go.
Right.
But I would go, and now I'm making a plan again. We're gonna do dinner again. We're gonna talk about the same things again. You know, like 3 dates in, if I was like in between on them, "Are you free next week?" wouldn't scare me away as much as I'd be like, do I really want to go and make a date and get dressed and what night am I free? It's all boring. And I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just I'm telling you how it's eaten.
I would say that seems like a risky text to someone. In
Well,
your mind, it's boring. And for us, it's like, oh my God, I put myself out there. I've let him know that I'm interested.
Right. I think a more exciting text to send would be like, this weekend, my friends and I are going out and having drinks in the afternoon and kind of seeing where the night takes us. You and some friends should join.
Okay.
See, that's exciting to me because now, and it's helped you. If we think about it thoroughly, like you are 3 dates in this hypothetical. Now you've invited him to an event where your friends can get eyes on him. You can see the dynamic. You can be turned on or turned off by his behavior in front of your friends. You are actually more likely to be turned off by his behavior amongst your friends.
Right. I think
but I'm sorry, but before you go, the excitement is like, oh, cool, she's doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're going to a cool bar. She's got friends. Oh, my buddy's been wanting to go out and meet people. You know?
Right. No, I totally get what you're saying from your side.
Yeah.
I'm saying from her side.
Yeah.
Or my side, it would be like, I want to see if you're like looking to seriously date and come meet my friends. Sounds like maybe you wouldn't. I wouldn't know if you're taking me seriously. You're not excited. I'm giving you. If you're not that excited, if you're on the fence, I'm prolonging this thing by giving you an easy way to sleep with me at the end of the night after we all hang out with my friends.
Right. I guess. Well, fair. I agree with what you're saying. I guess my point would be, are you dating them to see if you want to be with them, or are you dating them to try and get them to like you?
I think both.
Both,
right?
Yeah. So if both being the case, I think you can go out. You have to. This is a long game. Mm-hmm. You know, this isn't short game. I don't want to lose power thing. That's kind of where you're coming from.
No, I see that's a scared mindset. I totally see that. But I'm giving the other side of it.
I hear the other side. I guess like if we can help people shift their perspective a little.
Right.
That hang with friends is like you're doing 3-month shit after 3 dates. Mm-hmm. You're doing shit that like is coupley a little bit more. They're not going to come and start hitting on your friends.
Hopefully.
If they do, hopefully not.
Yeah.
If they do, you know, they're out. But I think you're like testing like what this feels like.
Right.
And this is.
I agree. It's a more fun, less scared, less calculated way to go about it.
Right. But if you're going to be calculated about it, which I would encourage people to do, you're going to have this friend thing, and the only thing out of it you want is the next date.
Right.
And if it's, I want to see if I like them and the next date.
Well, I think the issue is like he meets up with the friends, you sleep together.
Right.
And then that complicates what did you want?
Well, if you've already slept together.
Well, if you've already, that's a different story.
It's a different story. And that's, I think already slept together is the scared text time.
For women?
More likely to be
totally.
We've slept together.
Well, now you're
were
like
they here
invested.
just for sex?
Yes. Now we're gonna find out.
Right, and this
see.
is the big reveal. And I would say meeting the friends and getting each other in a daytime thing. That's like okay. Now we're gonna see if this is like for real. Now you have clear-headed, guy. I don't know.
Right. Assuming he's into that. Yeah.
Right. And that doesn't mean just because you had sex doesn't mean you have to have sex again. You had sex that one night. Hang with the friends. Hey, we're gonna go to a dinner tonight, so we gotta get out of here. There's a way to plan this. I'm kind of like setting a trap here for my own.
No, I agree. I think you're describing like misconfident woman. Mm-hmm. Like if you're like the best dater out there, you're doing this and you're not overly attached to the outcome and you're having fun. And like I think that's the ideal place to be. Mm. But do I think most people who are dating or have had bad luck with dating for a lot of years and are still in the game, like, do I think that's the place most of those people are at? Probably not. If they were, they probably would already be in a relationship.
Well, that's why they should take the advice.
I'm saying. It kind of like feeds into, they should take the advice. It's kind of like if they could have taken the advice, they might not even be here.
Right. Well, there's this.
So it's hard.
It's like there's certain, I not to be old man golf again, but like there's a lot of like tips you get in golf that you're like, my body doesn't feel right that way. And they're like, but that's the way it's going to, you have to work on making it feel right that way because that's the right way to
Fake
go.
it till you make it.
It's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was an interesting tweet.
No, I totally agree. And I think with do you know what I mean? Like I think about all the, like a lot of the advice that we give or that you give. And I think like, if I were single, like I'd be doing all this shit. I'd be like Miss Most Fun Girl at the party, just having a great time, not attached to the outcome, just chilling.
Yeah.
Like, the great hang. And then I'm like, well, I wasn't like that at all when I was single.
Right.
So.
No, I mean, you're looking at example 1 of not following his own advice. You know, I'm that. You know, I know what I should do. You know, I know it's diet and exercise, and I'm still like, well, what if I go on Ozempic? You know, like that's why anyone could like kick the stool out from under me. You know, they go, oh, Jared, what do you know? You're single. You have no, you know, and you have all this advice. I'm like, yeah, easier to give than it is to take. That's why the fodder is like.
No, I agree. And I think that like anyone who's not, I think the thing that men have most going for them, people always think it's easier for men to date. And I do think the one thing that makes it easier, and this is for not just dating, but for anything, is like non-attached to the outcome. If you could do anything without an intense attachment to how it turns out, you're going to have more fun while doing it, and you'll probably be better at it. It's very hard to do with anything, with work, with dating, with whatever it is. Like if you could just
lose
do it,
the expectations.
Yeah, and just try to enjoy it and not be like, not think of success or failure based on like what you get to. I think it changes the whole thing and you do better at it, but it's so much harder to do.
Let's jump right in.
Oh wow, 40 minutes. We did it.
We really did it. I'm on the road. If you're in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, please come to my show. I know you're probably want to go to the RNC, which is also there that weekend. But how about you take a trip away from Crazy Tunes land?
I have a feeling that the people going to your show and the people going to the Republican National Convention are a little like, I don't think the audience overlap is
a lot of people in elephant hats waving American flags. I don't know. I come to the show. It's outside of Milwaukee-ish. It's in a mall. I don't know. I'm a fucking loser. Just come to the show.
Go to the mall in Milwaukee.
And don't buy tickets anywhere but my website, jaredfree.com. Because
there's scam artists.
There's people out there. There's
resellers.
Grifters.
I'll tell you about a seat grifter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't go to Vivid Seats. Screw them. We're not investing in that company.
That's why I only get tickets for free.
That's right.
So I can avoid all scams.
Atlantic City is selling pretty well. You got to get those tickets now because...
The Hamptons of New Jersey.
That's right. I would not call it that.
I wouldn't call it that either.
Newark is about to sell out. So Newark people. And then that kind of rounds out Sacramento. Sacktown. I like Sacramento and Cleveland. That's kind of like rounding out my summer. And then we head into Indianapolis, Austin, Raleigh, St. Louis, Batavia, Rochester, jaredfree.com. What are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about, well, I'll read this email. We'll find out exactly what we're talking about.
This one, tough one.
Okay.
Tough one. Preview.
Tough. You had a tough time.
I have a tough time with this.
All right. Hi, Jordana and Jared, longtime listener of the pod and love all the advice you give. I am ready for the next step with my boyfriend, but he's not sure when he'll be ready. Tough.
Uh-oh.
All I can do lately is think about getting married, and it's starting to drive me insane. Backstory, we're both 28 years old. We've been together for years now. She doesn't say how many years.
I didn't like the vague
I would
nature.
like to know how many, because that is important at 28.
And she mentioned being together in the pandemic, which now, together in the pandemic, I was like, was that yesterday or 80 years ago?
I guess 4 years ago.
4 years? Yeah, so you're 4 years in at 28. What are we doing?
That's fair.
Totally fair.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't live together still. I refuse to move in together without a ring. Call me old school, but that's my choice.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
We see each other at least 3 times a week. We never really fight, and everything is amazing when we're together. We both have great jobs and are well off. Okay.
See?
There you go.
You can admit it.
Thank you. It just seems he won't take the next step. We both had a lot happen in the past 4 years. I finished grad school, new jobs, losing of a parent, pandemic, etc. It seems like there's always an excuse I made in my head why he hasn't proposed. For example, I'm in school. He just lost his mom. My question is, how long am I supposed to wait? He knows I want marriage and knows that it's a deal breaker for me. I feel like I keep nagging about it, which is driving him away. But should he know by now? I've sent him rings I like and houses I like and I would want to buy together. I've made myself look like a fool by continuing to bring this up. I'm ready to stop driving myself insane thinking about if he will ever propose. I want to spend the rest of our lives together, so I am willing to wait. I just don't want to wait, and it never happened. What do I do? Sincerely, fiending for fiance.
I love the idea that she's making a fool of herself, like as if she's talking to him in front of a studio audience.
Right.
Like, I want to be married.
she's-
Ooh.
I see what she's saying. Like, okay, I agree. She's not making a fool of herself, but I can see why it's like a little embarrassing for her.
Right.
It's a little embarrassing to be like asking someone continuously when and if they're going to marry you.
And
It doesn't make you feel good about yourself.
Well, and you're right. And we are all more public than maybe another generation was.
Right.
So like
and other people are also thinking it.
Right. Not they don't care, but they're thinking it.
Yeah.
The idea of, they're not married yet.
Interesting.
The next post on Instagram, every post I could understand on Instagram, it's just
Right.
a little bit harder
People
to
are
do.
wondering. They
as
don't.
a
I
couple,
agree. They don't
you know?
care. But yeah, there comes a.
What the hell's going on over there? Are they gonna ever get married? You are conversational to get away from other relationships, their problems.
Totally. And I think that it's funny. I feel like there are some relationships where every time someone else gets engaged, there's like a weirdness.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
No, we had one of those in my group.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, someone. Better not tell them about this.
Right. Well, the guy's saying that because
She did mention his mom died. Here's what you do: you get a white sheet, cut out the eyes, and you, in the middle of the night, you haunt him as his dead mother. I want you to get married.
Why haven't you proposed yet?
Stop ruining this girl's life.
Well,
Her eggs are shrinking. Is that what they do? Do they shrink? I don't know.
No, they disappear. They're lost.
They're lost forever?
Every woman is born with the amount of eggs she's ever going to have in
Really?
her life. Yeah.
What is this, science fiction?
And every year you lose some
Stop
and they're
it.
gone. Yes. It's not
I'm
like
not
men.
joking.
Men make sperm, I think, every 72 hours.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. That's why you're having so much fun in dating. You're
Coming everywhere.
fucking around.
That's right. Or we have none at all. You don't know until you're like trying.
Yeah. That's
You know?
true. Yeah.
I didn't know this. So you're born with
With all the eggs you're ever going to have.
Really?
Yeah.
That is like alien shit.
Yeah.
I am like, I'm not making a joke. I didn't have
You
any
didn't
clue.
know that.
No.
That you lose the eggs every.
Every man you are seeing has no idea about the female body.
Well, that's why you should tell every man about your eggs on your first date.
Just
Here's how my eggs
yeah,
are.
here's the number. Slide a number across the table. Got
What do you
82
think?
left.
Well, here's my number. You let me know the months till proposal number.
Right. Yeah, well, that's the I mean, you were somewhat in a position similar to her.
Yes.
Where you gave, I think, a lot of empathy to Mike when you guys were getting engaged. And he even, right? I thought of you a little bit.
You're saying empathy.
I think it's empathetic to look at a guy who's like, I'm not ready yet, and go,
Right.
I understand why you might not be ready.
Well, there's a difference, I think, between my situation and this. In that, with Mike, it was like he did want to get engaged. He wanted to like do certain things first.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a sense of like, this is what I do want to get married eventually, but I would like to live together first. I would like to. Whatever.
Hold on. So for this woman, what was the most helpful? Because I think what she's getting, the problem she has is she's not asking the right questions.
Totally. She's not
Yeah.
getting the clarity that she needs. And I think that's the most important thing, is to be able to communicate those things. And this is how you wind up in those situations, which I never really understood, where you have one person that's like, we're going to get engaged any month now, and the other person who breaks up with them seemingly out of nowhere.
Right. Well, because to me, that's what I kept thinking when he's like, if the response is, I'm not ready. What was the response that he gave? He's not sure. She wrote in quotes.
Yes.
He's not sure
Yes.
when he'll be. But then she wrote not sure, and then in quotes, when he'll be ready, not in quotes.
Right.
To me, I don't think she meant to do that, but that is a sign to me. Saying I'm not ready is different than
I'm not sure if I'll ever be ready.
Right, because these are called escape hatches in relationships. And men do this because they go, I got to buy time. I got to say something right now. I'm just not ready. I'm just not ready.
Right.
And because there's got to be...
What can you answer? What could you respond to that?
I would have follow-up questions. Not ready for what? To get married to me? I would say, what are the concerns?
Right.
Because
you have to almost air the biggest thing that you're worried about, that she's worried about.
She has one concern.
Yes.
That
you'll never
2
want to get
years
married.
from now, we will be at not ready town, and that will turn into me being Singleville.
Right.
And I think she needs... That's an easy thing for her to say. I am very concerned that you will decide you are not ready. You're going to use this excuse of not ready to break up with me, and then I will be back out there,
right,
having put a lot of time and effort into this relationship.
Exactly.
So I need to know what not ready means.
I like that, because you're then airing the concern. So if he lets the concern happen, then he's a dick.
Right.
Because you've aired the concern.
Right. And
right?
That's a good point, because that's kind of the small print in the contract he's trying to like work out. He might be trying to work out right now.
Right.
I think also the empathetic part from her end is, let's understand that there's pretty valid reasons for a guy to be afraid of this. I
think that's fair too. I think not ready in a certain time frame is different than not ready. And also a little worried, a little scared, again, for some people. I think it doesn't mean anything personal against you. Some people are just a little more hesitant.
Right. Well, and a little more hesitant, and also like the next thing's always coming. It's okay, let's get engaged. When's the wedding? Where's the honeymoon? When are you gonna have kids?
Maybe, yeah.
Where are you gonna move? She's already talking about buying a house. His life, let's just make sure that we understand, his life completely changes the minute he says,
so does hers.
Let's get engaged. But she doesn't really care.
That's what she wants.
All those things.
Why doesn't he want that? Is my question.
The only thing that can ruin his life is a woman.
He's already with her.
They're not, but with nothing owed. He knows what this is.
Right.
He doesn't know what. And again, this is the scary part of, like, you hear about people who's like, you know.
So could he not be ready?
He could not be ready.
He could not be ready,
scared.
and it not be personal.
Oh, absolutely.
And has nothing to do with her.
Absolutely. That is on the nicest side of it. He's not ready, one, because he's like, I hate her and I don't know how to break up with her, or
right.
It's I'm not ready because, yeah, then there's a wedding. Then we move in. I mean, she says, I'm not moving in.
Because it's about the steps. It's not about the...
Right. She's not moving in until she has a ring. Totally her right. I don't think it's a problem, but it does create a higher fence to jump over.
Right.
I've never lived with a woman. Now I'm living with a woman. Like, life happens fast. This is a Southwest commercial. Right? This is...
Snagged him.
Well, that's the thing. It's like all these things lead to, you know, you're now dad, right. Fuddy-duddy dad, no attention, no one gives a fuck about you. She's a queen, the kid's a fucking prince, and you're a loser. You're gone, off the face of the earth. I mean, it
doesn't have to be like that.
It doesn't have to, but it tends to. That's the fear. That's what I'm saying. Like, well, that's the self-invented fear.
Well, I think... I think that she approaches this in a way that you're saying, but also like what you're saying, which requires vulnerability. Here's my fear, right? And also a standard. Combine vulnerability and a standard.
Okay.
We've been dating 4+ years. I'm 28 years old. For me, I would like to be married to someone that I'm not going to stay with someone that I'm not sure that I'm headed towards a marriage and a future with. At this point, after dating for 4 years, at this age that I'm at.
Right.
That's what I need. I need to know that we are definitely headed in that direction. And we can discuss the timeline of that. If it's a matter of the timeline, whether you want it to be a little bit longer or shorter, that's fine. But I need to know that it's going in that direction, because this is my life too. And for me, I know I want to marry you. All the positive things that she has to say. And if you're not sure if that's something you want, that's a different discussion that we need to have.
It's funny because this is like, we've talked about this a lot, the combination of romantic and practical.
Right.
This is a very practical conversation that she is avoiding in favor of romanticism. Because she's like, I'm sending him rings. That's romantic. That he go, oh, that's what she likes. I'll make sure that I get her best friend to tell me what setting it should be on. Like, that's romantic. It's happening behind your back. I've made these. She says I've made
Pookie
these.
And Jet.
Pookie and Jet. That he will worship me.
Yeah.
not anybody, maybe not even Pookie and Jet or Pookie and Jet.
Right.
So
Caricature.
it's a character. Yeah. So like, I think she's got to be more, what you're saying, these are practical ways.
Right.
And he's
And
not going to be
vulnerable.
practical because
I'm
he's comfy
worried.
cozy. He's
Yeah.
going, if it were up to him, you guys would sit there fucking at 28 for the rest of his life.
And then you have to believe him when he
Right,
once
well,
you,
now
once
you're-
you get the real answer, and if the answer is I'm not ready, I'm not totally sure I will ever be.
Right.
Then that's on you to make the decision of what you want to do here.
Right.
And if you're
Will I
truly
be with-
if what you were saying is true or what I just said on her behalf is true,
Yeah.
you might need to end it.
Yeah, because I mean, the title was Husband or Fuck Off, which makes me uncomfortable. Like, I don't like to tell people.
Well, the ultimatums make all men uncomfortable.
Yeah,
but
I'm
an
fucking uncomfortable
ultimatum,
for this guy.
an ultimatum phrased a different way is a standard.
Right.
Is it not?
Totally agree. And it's
Right?
like, here's my standard. Here's the point.
My standard is I'm with someone for 4 years. When I'm 28 years old, I want to get engaged to them.
It's, you know, if I personalize this, it's been my issue with dating in my own life where like I'm more in tune to this conversation because of these emails that we read.
Right.
And I go, well, I know that's the point of you're a dickhead, Jared. Make
Well,
your decision
I
by
don't
this
think
point.
this guy's at dickhead point.
No,
yet.
no, but she's got to let him know where
Right.
dickhead point
That's what I'm
is.
saying.
Yes.
She has to, and I think women are afraid to do this for fear of seeming desperate or clingy or not. Again, doesn't feel. People don't ask questions because they don't want the answers.
Right.
So she's not asking this question because she doesn't want to hear. I don't know because then she's been told the answer. It's the same with defining the relationship.
Right.
I don't want to ask you. I don't want to tell you what I want out of this because if it's not the same, then I have to end it, which sucks.
Right. Good luck being single. No, no, Candace.
Just to defend her really quick, I wrote Husband or Fuck Off because
Oh,
that was
okay.
one of my favorite episodes from last year. Her subject line was the same as her sign off, just feeding for a fiance.
Fiending for fiance. Okay.
It was Husband or Fuck Off vibes to me.
It's okay. Totally agree with the vibes of the email. And it is husband or fuck off.
Yeah.
It is. Well, it's really marriage or fuck off.
Yeah.
You know, next
Right.
step or fuck
Which I
off.
think is fair.
Fair.
4 years.
Let's
fair.
do an awkward scenario. This one is fun.
Yes.
Jay and Jane, if you have an awkward scenario, send it into uup@betches.com, uup@betches.com. We also have a phone line, people. We'd love for you to call. Do we have the number here? What's the number? 1-800-husband or fuck off? Here it is. 212-589-8903. 212-589-8903. That's the number. Okay, years ago, I attended the wedding of a childhood friend / neighbor. I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship and was happily enjoying my time being single. At the wedding, I reconnected with another childhood neighborhood friend. Let's call him Dave. We ended up spending the whole night together, dancing, drinking, etc. At the end of the night, we were making out in my car when he made a uniquely smooth move to get on top of me and recline my car seat all in one swoop. All in one fell swoop. He ended up coming home with me, and we had a great night. Fast forward to 7 a.m. the next morning. I was woken by a knock at the door. I realized it was my ex dropping off my 4-year-old daughter at our regularly scheduled time on his way to work. I leapt out of bed in a panic and started hustling a naked Dave out of the room in the dark. I grabbed his clothes off the floor and shoved him and the clothes into my daughter's bedroom. I answered the door and quickly gathered my daughter and said goodbye to her dad. I got my daughter situated in front of the TV and went to check on Dave. When I opened the door, I saw a terrified 6-foot-tall Dave wearing only my hot pink sweatpants, which I must have grabbed accidentally in my rush, huddled in the center of my toddler's Barbie pink bedroom, surrounded by her stuffed animals and tiny furniture. After having a good laugh at Dave's expense, I was able to bribe my toddler with some McDonald's breakfast and let her know we needed to give mommy's friend a ride home. Slight twist. This happened about 25 years ago, and this is my mom's story. I was the 4-year-old. Whoa! It's like an M. Night Shyamalan.
Right. She's really doing a production set here, right?
I see ex-boyfriends. I see men my mama's fucked.
That's the sequel.
Right. My mom and Dave went their separate ways after that night, but have remained friends. Oh, good for everyone involved. Okay. She has shared a version of this story with me long ago, and then a couple years ago, Dave moved into a house across the street from my family's beach cabin. Dave has since become good friends with my husband, and we end up spending much of our time at the beach together. You know, when I was younger, I used to fuck your mom. You know what those beach chairs remind me of? The chairs in your bedroom after I fucked your mom.
Dave's also an animal in your version of the story.
I'm Dave. That's how I would handle it. Oh, that new Barbie movie come out. You know what it reminded me of? When I was in your room after I fucked your mom. While Dave briefly dated the bride from the wedding. Dave,
what is going on?
A coxman. This guy's
He's
everywhere.
got game.
While Dave briefly dated the bride from the wedding in the story after her divorce.
That's gotta be weird to have sex with someone whose wedding you were at.
For a minute.
Right.
Then you get over it pretty quickly, I think. He is now married to another neighbor.
Oh my
this
God.
neighborhood.
Dave sounds like very
Sesame
charming.
Street. Yeah, I got to meet Dave. This guy.
I thought this was going to end with her hooking up with Dave.
Fuck me and my mom. My whole family, including grandparents, uncles, and my mom and her boyfriend just attended Dave's wedding Memorial Day weekend. What a beautiful ending to Dave's cock life of fucking.
Dave's penis has been around.
Dave's penis. Thank you for the chance to share the story and for all the laughs over the years. Signed, Mother Knows Best.
I wonder what point her mother told her this story. How did that
she
come
said
up?
she told her years ago.
Yeah.
What's Dave like? Oh, let me tell you about Dave.
Is he my real dad?
Dave. And she like looks off. She's like shivers.
It's interesting that there's like it's funny that I feel like this occasionally happens where there's one guy in the group that everyone's had sex with and it's all cool.
Right. Well, it's a superpower. Like that guy somehow
Managed to not anger
anyone.
all these women.
I mean, the grandparents and the aunts and uncles were all at the wedding.
That's what I'm saying.
Cheering for him and another woman.
It's very it happens on occasion.
There's
I don't know,
certain
What is
guys-
the personality trait of that guy?
I wish I could bottle it and drink it.
I think it's like no one ever took him seriously, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. But like some people are just like really good at being upfront, maybe.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, I guess if you live a life like Dave, where you're just going door to
Fucked
door,
everyone at the
fucking
beach.
neighbor to neighbor.
It's like a rite of passage.
Right.
There are some men, like even in college, I feel like there'd be like some guys where it's like, oh, everyone's had sex with him.
Right.
Among the friend group, and it's not weird.
It's not weird. Everyone had a good time.
Yeah.
He's the town bicycle.
You hooked up with that, yeah.
Right.
But in a much less misogynistic way.
I guess.
It's okay with
a
it's
man,
not how
it's
they
okay.
talk about the women. Yeah.
Right. Well.
Is there a girl? Is there a woman in every group that every guy has
No.
had sex with? She's not talked about in the same. Oh, it's so funny.
I
Or
guess
it's so cool.
Right. The patriarchal way to look at her is that she's not. How right in the head could she be?
Right.
And that's not really fair.
Exactly.
But that, I think every man dreams of this like.
I've had sex with everyone, but no one hates me.
Right. Well, also to have like the what is the Lost Boys, the Wendy figure.
I haven't seen that.
Well, the Peter Pan,
Okay.
Wendy's,
yeah.
the mother hen to all the Lost Boys that she's
Right.
fucked. Like
Was
that
in
would be
the movie?
nice.
I must have missed
no,
that.
that's a different
Okay.
movie. It's a porno. No, you know what I mean though? Like it's like that would be the version I think of women that like,
Yeah.
oh,
Right.
Wendy blew me once too, and
Yeah, I just don't feel like she's got the same positive reputation.
I know.
It sucks.
Right.
I hope to live in a society where one day she would be.
Well, hopefully we can keep these eggs inside of a woman.
Exactly.
Find the science to stop losing them.
Yeah. But you know what? If you're that guy,
Write in.
to let us know how you got there.
Right.
Be the guy who's just had sex with a bunch of women and they don't hate you.
Just
They all know about each other.
right. And like I think all the women, like it seems like with these guys that like they're like, oh yeah, had a nice night, wasn't for me, wasn't for him, it fizzled. It's the
Right.
guy who's easy to say it fizzled with.
Yeah.
I was ghosted and fizzled. There's very thin line between the two.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah. I
So,
don't know. Interesting. Let us know if
good
you're
for
that person.
Dave.
If you know the secret sauce that they have.
Yeah, good for Dave's cock. If she could have Dave write it, maybe Dave.
Yeah.
She could have him.
Dave, let us know
call
how
in.
you've managed to not
escape the horrors of these angry women.
live in the dream life. Another email.
Let's do
All
it.
right, I'll read it. Hey, J&J, longtime listener and subscriber, first time writing, feather.
Thank you.
I wanted to write in hoping you might discuss something that on air that's been on my mind this week.
Okay.
I, 34 male, have a close friend at work, 40 female,
Mm-hmm.
whom I've discussed the ups and downs of my dating life for a long time. She recently separated from her husband and re-entered the dating scene for the first time in a long time. It's finally my turn to critique her dates and do the coaching. Not quite sure how good that coaching is, but I try.
You could tell her about a podcast that could help her out.
Perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps.
She decided to create a profile on a popular dating app at 8 p.m. on a weeknight. She started showing me her likes the next morning at work. She had over 2,000.
Hottie, it was back.
Fresh meat.
That's right.
I was stunned. Granted, a large percentage of them were men whose featured profile picture was the car selfie with wraparound Oakley sunglasses, looking nonchalantly away from the camera, or them holding some sort of dead animal. I jokingly said the most important question you can ask these men is, where were you on January 6th, 2021? Keeping it light.
Yeah.
We looked at her filters, and it was men within 25 miles, age 35 to 50, so she wasn't casting that large of a net. But 2,000 in less than 24 hours? It got me to thinking. Now I tend to do okay on the apps.
But what about me?
Making it about him. Not starved, but not drowning either. Not starved, but not drowning. That's funny. I never thought my experience was unusual.
He went back and forth between metaphors. Right. It should be not starved, but not hungry.
Yes.
Or not
not starved.
drowning.
No, not starved, but not full.
Right. Not starved, but not full.
Not stuffed. Not starved, but not stuffed.
Yeah. Instead of not starved, but not drowning.
Yeah. That doesn't.
Okay.
Not dry, but not drowning would be the other one.
Right.
Whatever.
Right. Okay.
I never thought my experience was unusual. Seeing her rack up so many likes so quickly put things in perspective a little and made me feel a little bit weird. She's attractive with a successful career and has plenty going for her, but has a little baggage. 3 kids between 2 ex-husbands.
2. Okay.
And she says he's not trying to be judgy here, but as someone who's never been married and has no kids, these are factors that would give me pause. Key factors when you're considering a future with someone.
Well, okay. This guy's lost the narrative. This guy, he's so crazed by the 2,000 matches.
I agree.
That he's not even seeing straight.
I agree. He's missing
the
point here.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to deter half the metro area of my town. All right, you're jealous. We get
right, 2,000. I don't know what I'd do with all this pussy.
How the hell does someone see numbers like that after less than 1 day and not get immediately overwhelmed by the number of choices? How do women feel about this? As a guy, it's a bit intimidating thinking that this is the experience for many women, and I am just one of 2,000 plus men trying to get their attention with a dad joke or a joke about an irrational fear about them not removing the plastic separator between us at the grocery store when the cashier puts it down because she's so far out of my league that there's just no chance we're together. Okay, this guy is an overthinker. Would love to hear your thoughts and maybe have Jared share his experience.
Well, I will say he's lost.
I agree.
He's
missing a crucial point.
Right, that these guys want to fuck her.
That. I also think when you're new to the app, I do think the algorithm pushes you to the top because no one has seen you before. You're not stale leftovers that are just been hanging around on this app for years. No, I think that if you ever find that you like
to the stale leftover community that listens to this podcast, we love you too. No, I agree.
I was saying that's like a jokey,
no, I agree,
horrible way to put it.
They're losers.
I think that I think if you've been on an app for a while, like you kind of either see the same people or you feel like you've already seen people before. I don't think the app is push. I think the app pushes new people with a new profile to the top of everyone's list because they're new.
Absolutely fair. But I also think when he's saying she's got some baggage and I'm, if I was, I don't know if I look at
who
her.
Would possibly have sex with someone with kids?
Right.
How many eggs does she have left?
He's when I think of a future, you think all these guys on an app they're not thinking of a future.
Right. Would have sex with, would not have sex with.
That's the game. Yes or no? Would I fuck? Would I bang? Hot or not is how these all started.
I don't think that's the same for men though.
On the other side. Yeah. The women are not looking at men the way men are looking at women. It's just the nature of this podcast. That's why women listen to this podcast. They're exhausted. It's what's the line we heard in San Francisco? The odds are good, but the goods are odd.
Yeah.
The odds are good. You're going to find men. You can find men.
A man who wants to have sex with you,
right,
of course.
In an alley. The idea 2,000.
That's how we're looking for.
Right. So this, if anything, this is the beginning scene of an updated version of the Mel Gibson movie, What Women Want.
Yes.
This is literally the beginning scene when he turns into a woman or whatever what was the premise?
He can hear what women think.
He can hear what women think. So if
It's a different movie.
No,
That's
different
the hot
movie.
chick.
The hot chick, right? But this would be a scene in the hot
Both
chick.
great movies.
Both fun movies. Like, but if a man turned into a woman and was like, "Oh, let me go take a spin on the apps," they'd be like, "Oh my god,
So many dicks.
so many dicks, so
Get
many
outta
men.
here."
Oh my god, all they want to do is talk. 2,000 matches. What do I do with this?" If anything, he should see this as the plight of a woman,
Right.
not the, "Oh my god, what the fuck am I doing wrong?" of a man.
Totally.
You know,
yeah.
like-
I think it's kind of like maybe as a woman you get less, or you get more likes, but they're not as high quality as I think that women think about it more before they swipe on a man, in my opinion.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you, and it's the problem with dating apps. It's the quantity versus the quality.
If you take us back years, we had a guest on, I think Helen Fisher. What was this? Probably 5 years ago now, and she talked about how the ideal number of matches of like people to be talking to is like no more than 6.
Okay,
I think.
right.
So it was like if you want to use the apps well, find 6 people. That's like as many options as someone can handle
Right.
while having like a meaningful conversation.
Yeah. That Helen Fisher episode, man.
Still talking
Is it
about
still
it.
out there?
Yeah.
Still on the
We'll
internet?
promote it when we promote this episode.
You want to hear me get uncomfortable? And then Jordana came out there swinging. It was great.
What was that? You remember? It was so long ago.
I remember how uncomfortable it was. She cut me out of the knees. She's like, "These men are all fucking dicks." And then I was like,
I think you're thinking of Nancy Joe.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of.
No, I'm
Who's
talking
Helen
about
Fisher?
Helen Fisher was
Oh, she was great.
yeah. I'm getting old. You're getting old.
My joints, my memory. I'm such an idiot. No, she was great. No, I remember it was a Zoom.
Yeah, I think it was a
Yeah.
call. It was before fucking Zoom. It was a call.
Talking to this.
Supposed to have been
She was a
2018
professor.
or
Yeah.
something.
Is
Yeah.
she still alive?
I gotta have her back.
I think we should have her back for sure.
Our episode from May 29th, 2019.
That is like pre-Zoom.
Yeah.
You're right.
What was the title?
It's the longest title in the history of titles.
Are you obligated to reveal your phone passcode in a relationship featuring Dr. Helen Fisher?
She was a great guest.
Yes.
Now
Now that she's the one you remember.
Yeah.
Not the one you It's hard, all these old woman names. Helen.
Helen.
Nancy. It's easy to confuse.
Old woman names. They're all going to come back.
Yeah.
All names come back.
They do.
That's
I
the-
heard like older names are back.
All right, let's play some games.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We love it. Red flag or deal breaker. Love this game. Love when you send in specific scenarios. 1. Hi, J&J and the whole crew. Hey, a little hello for the crew here.
Hello, crew.
I've been talking to a guy, 37 male, on the League for a few days. What's the League's premise at this point?
It's like every other app's premise. We only take special elite people, but then they need money and then they take more.
Now everyone's on it for a few days. And when he messaged me today, I noticed that every single one of his photos on his profile changed. His hair, long and in a man bun, was brown with some gray peppered in all of his... With brown with some gray peppered in all of his previous photos, but now all the photos show that his hair is completely gray. Still long and in a man bun. It was such a big change, and he didn't address it at all in his messages so far. So red flag or deal breaker, all his photos and his hair color is suddenly completely different. What do you think of this one?
So it was brown and then he turned it He's made
now
it
fully gray.
He made himself older.
I guess so.
Right.
Someone told him
That was
you don't
my
look like
thought.
your profile.
Right. That he went on a date and someone was like, your hair doesn't look like that. And he got self-conscious. And
Right.
He changed it to more recent photos.
This is a green flag.
Right.
I think
agree,
this is
'cause he
someone
looks
who's
worse.
trying. He looks
Yes.
worse. Yeah, and
Assuming he looks worse. I actually kind of like a nice
Good-
silver fox.
yeah, why not? Look at you and Anderson Cooper could live together lovingly for the rest of your life. But here's the thing. It's a big difference when the pictures change before you've gone on a date than after you've gone on a date.
Right.
Like this is a signal of someone who's like trying to like improve their dating life. And you are someone they're talking to
Right.
in that process. And it's not like they went out with you and was like, ugh,
I don't think they owe you an explanation.
at all.
No.
And I also don't think it's like the idea that he's lying to you. No. Or if you'd gone on a date, then you got on the app and saw that he changed his pictures.
He's trying to find other dates.
Right. He's like, ugh, this is what I got. I can do better than this.
Right.
You know, and we've gotten that email before. To me, this is like, if you're on the app and you've never met before,
No one owes you anything.
They owe you nothing.
Besides, like, obviously, as long as you're not a monster.
Right.
You don't owe someone anything.
No,
you don't owe
there's-
them an explanation about any of your pictures.
There's no such thing as ghosting. And if you're
Yes.
telling that story, it's probably your biggest problem in dating is that you're over dramatizing like things that are like to make yourself the
Meaningless.
victim, and that dating's so hard. And it's like you're more in your own way than other people being in your way.
Once you meet people, then they start to owe you more things. The
Ab-
more time you meet people, the more they owe you.
That's right.
Eventually, you get owed a ring.
Yes. And
Let's bring it back to the first team.
let's do another.
Okay. Hi, J&J. Last wrote in early 2023, and over a year later, I'm still out there in the world of dating apps, but I just can't get over how hard it is to find any good matches.
Whoa, it's me. Oh, there's nothing out there. All these uglies.
Let alone one worthy of a relationship. But
Worthy.
worthy.
This
See,
emailer-
she could answer the last guy's email. So many likes.
Can I read this?
No one worthy of a relationship.
Right, can I read this?
Sad,
I
listen to
just
sad
can't.
music.
Like this, put some sad music. This person needs to hear themselves.
Let's hear
Don't
it.
you think?
Put some sad music
Put
behind
some
this.
sad music behind this. Let's get some music. Last wrote in early 2023, an eon ago. And over a year later, I'm still out here in the world of dating apps. I just can't get over how hard it is to find any good matches. Look at me, a beautiful soul, going through the garbage bin of people, let alone one worthy of a relationship with me.
It's like we're on Bridgerton.
That's right.
It's sadder.
But nothing gives me more pause. She said they said pause.
Yes. Nothing gives them more pause than when reading a candidate's responses to the prompts because they are just so clearly miss the mark. I'm going to have to start a tally of how many men respond to a random fact I love is with something stupid like food, sports, football. It's supposed to be a fact, not what you love. I know I can't be the only one out here thinking, why choose this prompt if you don't even know what it means?
Like again, this is a her problem, not a them problem.
She seems like she's becoming a little bit negative.
She's had it. A little negative
Those
Nancy.
2,000 likes and not one relationship has come out of it.
Right. That's the thing.
Yeah.
This is the woman that the guy who wrote in should think about.
Well, it's funny. We talked about in the beginning of this episode. The best thing you could do is have fun, not be attached to the other.
Right.
She is not having any fun.
Right. It is funny that they're writing a fact I love, food.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're not even.
Right.
I can understand where she's like, they're not taking it seriously. They're not even fucking reading the prompts.
As seriously as I am. That's what
Right.
she's doing. She's comparing her issues in dating and how serious she takes it with how all these other guys don't care at all. And she's probably going to delete the apps if I'm going to like be honest with her.
She
Like,
should
let's
for
take a
a little
break.
bit. Take a little break.
So
It's our
let's
advice.
take a seat, just chill, have a drink.
Do you think it's icky or picky to not swipe on someone because they said a random fact I love is football?
I don't think it's too picky. I don't think it's too picky.
Okay.
I think it is not worth getting a rise out of.
Not writing an email to a podcast.
Right.
About, but thank you for writing it.
Right. Thank you. But I think like this is something that you'll be at the brunch table and all your friends will laugh at, and I'll go, okay, not your match, not your problem. Like, let's move
It's
on.
a funny bit.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's funny to like show a friend and be like, look at these idiots.
Right.
But like, here's the problem that happens from this is, and to go back to 2,000 matches, 2,000 likes. And if you get attached to what happens, and I think what's happening to her and why she's getting angry is she'll see a picture of a guy that she can see it with. And they'll have like one good response and a good picture. And then she'll see this non-response and she'll be let down.
Yeah.
So she kind of gets carried away. Again, they owe you nothing. This is an app. This is a ghost. You don't even know. You have, as you put it, mentally masturbated to this person.
Yeah. It's not personal.
It's not personal, and she's taking it personal. So I don't think it would be picky.
She's just like, this is what I have to fucking deal with.
Right. I think it'd be funny. I mean, if you just see someone that you like really were attracted to, and you responded to other prompts of theirs that piqued your interest. If in the conversation, what the hell is this?
Right. In a funny, fun way.
Funny,
not
fun way.
in a-
Or when you go on the date, if they ask you, I don't
I
think
feel
all
like you
these
would
people.
block someone, though, if they did that. Would you not?
if I was on the date with them, I would get it and I would go.
Yeah,
and
it'd have to be in person.
It'd have to be in person.
Yeah.
If it was on the app and they're like, and
It
what
would
the
sound
fuck
kind
is
of
that?
condescending.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, I fucked up. Okay. Like, or I don't care. You know, or you were right and they don't care as much as you.
Right.
You know, it's like one or the other, which is disappointing too. So.
Yeah. For me, a red flag, not a deal breaker.
Right. It's not a deal breaker, but it's also, I understand the frustration. Like, are you even doing this?
Also, like, bad answer, even if it was what you love.
Right. A random fact I love: football.
is a sport. That's a
Sport.
Yes.
It's like they don't speak the language.
Right. Maybe they don't.
Right. That could be it.
Yeah.
We have another one.
Let's do it.
Hey, couple of red flag of deal breakers from briefly attempting to date my neighbor. Ultimately, too many red flags that it turned into a real deal breaker. The first time I went to his apartment across the complex from mine, I noticed a box of sex straps on the kitchen table. I said, "Oh, I don't think I was supposed to see that." He said, "What? I like to have a little fun."
No.
He went to his room and then proceeded to pull out the rest of the collection, consisting of a leg bar, handcuffs, a whip, blindfold, and feathers. Mind you, this is the first time we hung out.
No.
Now,
Sorry.
if you've gone, to me, that's enough to know what this guy's after.
Yes. That would be like, they're screaming at you.
Right.
What
They're
they're
literally
after.
like,
Right.
there's the gun. I like to shoot shit.
Right.
You know, like, it's just like, you're not going to change sex strap guy who brings out his other sex things.
Exactly.
Like,
and if we're consuming men, quite the red flag.
right. She writes, stupidly, I went to dinner with him a week later. He proceeded to tell me he doesn't eat a lot, and we were just getting appetizers.
That's a deal breaker too.
Right.
I don't eat a lot?
Don't eat a lot.
What the fuck?
And we are just getting appetizers. Yeah, I slightly disappointed because I can throw down some food. I don't like to eat a lot. They don't. The sex straps don't fit on my wrists if I'm too bloated.
Oh
You know.
my God.
Like, he proceeded to tell me that he doesn't eat a lot. We shared because I can throw down some food. We shared a salmon dip with Christini's.
Interesting.
Something I'm sure I would like a salmon dip.
What
with
is a salmon dip? It's like
there's like fish dip is big in Florida.
interesting.
And it's
is it like the Mediterranean dips?
No, I would compare it more to like almost like I would say it's like a buffalo chicken dip
Made out of salmon?
with fish instead. I've never heard of salmon. Salmon,
I could. Me.
it is off-putting. Yeah. See,
Well,
like a buffalo
it looks
chicken.
gourmet in the picture Candace is showing us.
It is delicious, but it's a very it's a deep flavor. I would say like I'm
Interesting
not
date
really
choice.
on a date.
Yeah.
I'm not ordering the salmon dip on a date.
No.
I mean, like Fart City. Halfway through, he said he was full and wanted to take the rest of it to go. Salmon dip to go.
Or first date to go anything? Have you ever taken food home on a first date?
I've had women take.
Really?
And I hate it.
I think
hate
that's
it,
a
and
deal breaker.
Cheapskate move.
Yeah.
I don't like
First
it.
date, you're taking it home?
I understand there's some people out there that can't see
We need
food
to be in
go
a
away.
committed relationship to take
Taking
food
home in general,
No.
don't like the look of it.
I mean,
I know this is me
I
being
would
a
take
pretentious
home
guy,
food. I would take home like Chinese food, maybe.
but
Or
some
out.
shit just doesn't travel too.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking home food
On a first date,
it's
weird.
cheesy. No, it's
Yeah.
cheapskate move. Halfway through, he said he was full and wanted to take the rest of it to go. He said, "Well, unless you want some more." I said, "I could keep eating. It's pretty good." He poked my stomach
Oh
and
my
said,
God.
"I think I'm going to take the rest home." What?
This guy sounds like a monster.
That's like abusive. Like if
Right.
someone poked my stomach and was like, "No, I'll be taking it," I would like sit there crying.
Especially when you didn't ask if you were done.
Right. This was also after asking when I'm going to go back to the gym and build my thighs back up since my leg is atrophied from knee surgery.
Is this guy like real? I feel
know,
like
but,
he's
like-
a myth of like red flag handbooks.
Yeah, right.
Right?
He's like he's
Like a
just,
checklist
he
if you
was-
had to cross off on every date.
he was created by a witch of red flags.
Yes, by someone on TikTok trying
Right.
to get stories.
So what were these for you? Just red flags or deserved deal breakers? Well,
I think every
The
single
thing-
one of these things is a deal breaker.
right, and I don't want to blame the victim here because like she's the one like if
Well, she did say, stupidly, I went to dinner with him a week later.
Right. I just, the minute the sex toys are out and you want a relationship and not just fucking.
Right. Well, it's funny. It's funny because, like, I think you say this about men with women. You're like, you never don't think that there's a chance she's into you. And for us, I feel like a lot of people, a lot of the time, you're kind of like, well, there's a chance this could be a real thing.
Right. He's a little quirky.
Yeah, we could make this work, maybe.
Like when you, you're bringing up a fantastic point. When you match with someone, we think you want to fuck us, and you think we want to date you.
We could.
So if he wants to date,
you know, maybe
he does want to date. He's on a dating app.
We got dinner.
Right. So he isn't that much of an animal. He's a little weird, but like you know. Look at Sandra's husband. She's weird. He's weird too.
What a great our story. He lives across the complex from me.
Right, and he's worried about my atrophied leg. He wants me to get into PT. Worried about my tummy.
He's a gourmand. He got the salmon dip.
Salmon dip on a date.
Took it home. No.
Yeah, nah. Gonna be a no from me, dog. Yeah.
So she can. You're icked out by any taking home of food on any date.
It would really be a personality type to me. I would the connection between personality and taking food home from a date is to me like
at any point.
Not at any point. I would get to know that person for who they are 3 years in, but like, no, first date is like wild to me.
Yeah, I agree. First date is crazy. You must really not give a shit about what the person thinks.
I remember it happened on a day where I dated her.
Oh, you did? Okay, so it wasn't a deal breaker.
At the time, now I'm a little more set in my ways.
Yeah.
No.
I'll take it. Yeah, to go. Also, like, that also says they're going right home. What are they carrying around the chicken parmesan to the next bar?
What's in that box? Yeah.
We did it.
They're not coming to my place.
Right?
Hey, can I put the chicken parm in the fridge?
Before we hook up.
Right. Hey, can I put any Tupperware? Well, I like that we're making an episode. Right. The team.
Yes.
We're back with Lady Gang.
Episode. The U Up podcast is produced by Belle Roman and Candice Maniga. Editing, social media by Candice Maniga. Be sure to follow @u. Send us your emails, up